Reflection.
Welcome. This one is going to be interesting in terms of where we place our reality, our mind, when it comes to Antarctica and the ice wall and those sort of creative endeavors. And one of the things that came to mind for me was that if the ice wall itself is man-made, then the climate itself threatens to derail that by raising the temperatures and therefore melting the ice to, reveal what's hidden. So I wonder if the actual climate change action that is false, but what they promote so much is to keep the place from rising in temperature to stop the ice from melting. So then they place fear upon that if the ice caps melt, the waters will rise, yada yada yada. But what if that's not it? They are afraid that if the ice melts, it will reveal things that they can no longer hide. So they fill us with lies wrapped in lies, and they are just distractions so that the truth can go unnoticed. Now, I'm a educated man nonetheless in both sides of reality. I know the sciences behind things. I know that the sun is what generates warmth. Well, at least that's what we're told. The difficulty comes in the relationship you have with knowledge. Because we all know Antarctica has a treaty, no one's going there, no one's leaving if they get in. We know there's potentially things outside the ice wall, and it's even in movies. It's scripture, so they distract you with things. They build lies around it. But what if the wall was not actually natural? We know of periods of the Ice Age and the floods and the Younger Dryas and all of these things that have created multiple cataclysms. But what if the ice was supposed to have melted by now to reveal some truths of what is hidden there or lands that we're supposed to get to? What if the places in Antarctica that you cannot go have mechanisms and machines that actually keep the ice in formation? I mean, we have snow machines. They can create snow. Snow is what's repelling the sunlight from melting the inner core of the ice. So what if they're keeping the snow? They're keeping the temperature of the world lower. So they fill your mind with this climate change BS to make you believe that the world needs to stay colder, when in fact it doesn't. Maybe it does, who knows? And when you look at this information and you see yourself as, I don't know how things actually are. You question the reality of even the science or the things you've learned. So the sun creates warmth. You go outside, it is warm, but what is it? There's a giant ball of plasma and these sorts of things. But without actually seeing it, without actually knowing, we just have to take someone's word for it. That's the whole essence of our knowledge, and what we know is we've been told by someone else or something else without actually seeing it. We look up the sun, but we don't really know what it is. We just know it's warm and it's hot. And science is looking at it through telescopes and whatnot. We know that ice is created when temperature gets down to 0 degrees and more. But how? Go deeper into the questioning of how does that happen? Why does atoms freeze when you freeze it? How does it freeze it? Why does it freeze it? And why is Mother Nature getting so cold? This is that adage in the Matrix where is that air you're breathing. The creation of a story is history. The creation of an idea and a thought replayed over and over again becomes fact, becomes truth, becomes life. So that when truth is finally revealed to us, people will doubt that truth, or it's AI, or it's, no, that's not true because we know it to be like this. You hire all of these people to promote science, to promote all of these things so that when the truth is revealed, people doubt it. They defend the lie with honor, whether it's mind manipulation and mental programming. But think about something different. Throw away the science. Throw away the knowledge of everything you've learned through textbooks and schools and people, because they could all be a distraction. They could all be red herrings leading you in different paths down so many different rabbit holes to take you away from the center. So throw that away. How does climate work? How does Mother Nature create temperature? It's cold. What areas are colder than others? Why is parts of Australia warm but will never snow where we are, but will snow over there? Is it the height? Is it the location? We don't have many mountain ranges here in the West. Is that why? Or is it closer to the sun on certain aspects? Or is it closer to the edge of certain things? I think when you look at it, nothing really makes sense. And that's the critical trigger point that I'm trying to make, is when you sit down and you question everything, nothing makes sense. Because what if it's not meant to? What if everything that you see, from climate, the sun, the cold, this, that, clothing, everything doesn't make sense because it has no foundation. It has no basis. Everything we have been taught has come from the system. Unless you have gone inward and found your dark night, found your spirit, you just know, you have that understanding. You don't have to be taught through textbooks. But even then, they have areas and ways that they can manipulate the energies for you. The false lights, the imprisonment of the mind to access those areas of our life, to access the Akashic records. So nothing makes sense in asking why, because the question why continues no matter how far you go, at least till you get to a point where people just don't know anymore. So one of the things I'd like to think about is, what if they are keeping the ice wall frozen on purpose? Like a ice hockey rink where they're keeping it frozen by pumping in the climate control, basically. It's possible. It's plausible. They don't want the temperature to rise because they won't be able to sustain that wall. And is it man-made? Because if we are at certain levels of where we are they warmer or colder? Is the distance away from the heat source and the sun, why is it warmer there and colder there? These are the aspects of reality that we need to ask ourselves. But what's hard is when you haven't got anything truthful. You haven't got anything factual to base your evidence on, to base your understanding or knowledge. That's what the world has hidden from us, that we need to come back into the truth of reality. This is why I said lies are wrapped in distractions so the truth can go unnoticed. Because it doesn't matter what aspect or avenue or idea or thought you have. unless you have the truth to base it on, to teach, to preach from, nothing holds value. Nothing makes sense. It's just a lie after a lie after a lie told by bureaucrats and so-called leaders and scientists and doctors and lab coats. And it sucks because you can't attach yourself to anything. The youth and the young kids are getting pushed away into this transhumanism and meta-based realities because they've got nothing to live for. There's no truth to be aspiring towards. When we take ourselves away and go into nature, the beauty, the questioning, the freedom, the understanding, it makes sense. And then you come back to this textbook mentality and nothing makes sense anymore. It doesn't equate, it doesn't revolve. But what if? What if the ice wall is just that man-made? Isn't that something that we'd all like to see fall? What is on the other side? I know I would. And I hope you do too. So does with that, I leave you with peace and love. Take care.